So I think this is the perfect segue into the Timothée Chalamet sort of thing, because my take on the Timothée Chalamet is he said something stupid.
He just
I don't know. He just said that opera and ballet were obsolete, or that nobody liked them, or something like that.
Yeah,
The whole entertainment world is up in arms. But honestly, I kind of am like, you know, he said it. It was a bonehead thing to say. Poor Timothée Chalamet. He said something dumb, and now everybody's like punching him in the face for it. I'm like, come on. That's my feeling. That's my feeling.
Good morning.
Dan, how are you?
Good, good. It looks like it's maybe sunny there for you
Oh, it
right
is
now.
not. It is not.
It's just natural light that comes in through the window under all circumstances.
And it's my natural effervescence that
Your regular
flies
glow that
through.
just
No, New York has been quite a roller coaster this week. On Wednesday, we had people walking around in barely anything. It was 80 degrees, and the very next day it was angry snowing. And today it's foggy and rainy. It's quite disgusting out. Yeah.
that's good.
New York City.
I don't miss that kind of whiplash. What's called bullwhip type activity. So I guess we should jump into what does your algorithm look like today?
Let's see this morning. I bet you it's going to be oh goodness. Oh, there we go. It's Hudson Williams and Connor Story at the Oscars. Of course.
The hockey guys?
These are the hockey yes, the hockey guys, Dan. You need to watch the hockey show. More reactions from the Oscars. More hockey, but that was not Hudson Williams. Oh, and a bit of a reaction to the Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting comments.
Yeah, that guy. It's been a bit of a brutal drop for me, because I used to love him. I used to think he had a real special something, and I still do. I think he's a good actor. These comments were hurtful, though, coming from an ex-dancer.
Let's talk about that. Let's put that as a note to talk about with
Put
Kelly.
a pin in that. What's on your algorithm today?
I think that's a good topic, because I'm actually curious about what you thought about that as well. So apparently, like your hockey, see, we have this is interesting, right? The first thing that pops up on my Instagram, as usual. Here we go.
You and the ladies, Dan.
Yeah. So I don't really know. And then space capsule, something about like some sort of building thing where they're building modular houses that look like space capsules. And then more oh, this is my buddy Moses. I'm going to give a shout out to Moses. He's been doing he's my neighbor over here. He's like an art guy, like he's a painter, like all this stuff. And he started doing these like little, like, I don't know, like thoughtful, philosophical, creative things. And he's doing something right, because they keep popping up on my stuff. I guess I started following him. I guess that's probably why. But it's really weird, because I love the guy. I can't tell if he's like seriously doing it or if it's a parody or like a satire of it.
Interesting.
But either way, it's good, because it's thoughtful, but it's also like, wait, is this kind of a joke? I can't tell. But that's the beauty of it, because it's like
it's making you think, right?
It's making you think. So anyway, those are my top 3 that were up. But I've got to definitely have a couple girls on there, because I don't know why that's what the Instagram thinks I want. I don't know why.
It probably thinks most men want that. Most men, once it's decided you're straight, it probably is going to send you.
Right. That's probably
the
what
ladies.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, at least it believes I'm straight. I guess that's the important part, right? So
sure.
I've got the algorithm fooled. So
shall we check in with Palm Beach News?
Yes, let's check in with Palm Beach News.
Kelly's here. Grab your shades. It's a wild, weird Florida day.
Good morning, sweet friend.
Watch that stuff. That's
well,
what
I also do share it, right? Because I do send it to you sometimes.
Yes, and then my algorithm has all these girls, and I'm like, I don't need to see anybody kneading dough with a t-shirt with their nipples kind of open. You know, and it's like, I that's wonderful. I'm glad you do it. You're kneading that dough very well, but it's not just because I watched it once because he sends it to me. It doesn't mean that I need my algorithm to be full of that stuff.
Kneading that dough very well.
I mean, you could do whatever. We've talked about the parody potential for this, and I'm sure that exists, and I need to get on those parody ones. But like, they're gardening with a thin t-shirt and you're nipping out, or you're cleaning or sweeping with a whatever. This is all like very domestic stuff. I don't mean it to be that. I'm sure we've talked about like a grant
Working
writer
on car.
with my nips hanging out, and maybe I'd have an OnlyFans career, a successful OnlyFans career. Only grants. We've talked
I've
about that.
said it before. I will say it again. You two have the most fascinating marriage I've ever witnessed.
It's okay. All right. Well, all right. So now we're back to speaking of interesting things going on. I've seen a couple of these things for a while, so I've got like three. We'll do three, and then we can talk about the Timothée Chalamet thing because I have ideas on that. All right. The first one that I think was kind of interesting. This is okay. So my normal app, WPTV app. So there's a safety concerns. This happened about February 23rd. So this has been almost, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. 2 cars plunged into a West Palm Beach waterway 8 days apart in the exact same spot. West Palm Beach woman, and this is the best part, a West Palm Beach woman out for her morning walk witnessed 2 separate car crashes into the intercoastal waterway in the same spot within 8 days. So the same lady was walking by at the same time that 2 different cars went off the road T's into the intercoastal, and there's like a planter and everything, and we drove by because we're loose, and it went over and into the water. The first guy survived, the second guy didn't. But the fascinating thing to me, I mean, usually I'm sure there's alcohol involved because it's, there's a stoplight and everything, and you're going like 45 miles to launch yourself Dukes of Hazzard into the water. But the fascinating thing to me is that there was one woman who was taking her walk, and she happened to see both of these things, which happened a week apart.
That's suspicious. Have we questioned her a little bit more deeply?
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't say her name.
what's the common denominator?
That's
See,
right. That sounds like a great use of police resources.
though. So that's that one. So that's good. I don't know. I'm going to keep going. This was a while back as well, but I saved this. This was from February 19th. I saved this because this, I think, is a good question. The headline is a boneless wing really a wing? A federal judge weighs in.
God, this country has lost its mind.
Federal judge has tossed a lawsuit alleging that Buffalo Wild Wings misled customers by marketing its boneless wings, which are made from chicken breast meat rather than meat from an actual chicken wings. Ayman Halim sued the chain, claiming that the company violated the Illinois Consumer Fraud Act. He argued that he would not have purchased the product at the same price if he had known that it did not contain wing meat. U.S. District Judge John Tharp dismissed the case this week, writing that, quote, a boneless wing is a, quote, fanciful name describing a style of preparation, not a specific body part of the chicken.
Yeah. And also, what was the guy suing for? $20? He wants his $20 back.
I have a lot of thoughts. Quickly,
Yes.
weren't wings, the concept of like buffalo wings, weren't they developed because chicken wings were something nobody wanted to eat? And so it was sort of a marketing tool to get this uneaten, unused part of the chicken used, which to me indicates this is an undesirable, typically, part of the chicken. So when you're getting breast meat that is
Chicken
in a buffalo style,
boneless wings, yeah,
you're conceivably getting a better product.
Right?
That's
But
assuming you like the white meat versus the dark meat. Maybe his point was that he was
Make
expecting
it out of
to
chicken
be
legs is white.
chicken thighs. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't-
I don't know.
Culture changes. They used to feed lobster to prisoners up in Maine.
Exactly.
This is true. This is
So wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you like what you like, I guess.
yeah, yeah. But I
But
thought
no
that
need,
was
no
pretty-
need to make a federal case out of it.
No need to make a federal case out of it.
Oh,
Oh, all right. So this is the last one that I'm going to do. This is actually not from WPTV. This is from the Independent, which I think is a British newspaper, British online, whatever. I think it's British. I just saw it. Camel pageant thrown into chaos after 20 competitors are disqualified for using hump plumping injectables. This was actually in March. This was March 5th. A camel beauty pageant in Oman, pardon me, has
international
plunged
then.
into chaos as 20 of its competitors were disqualified after their owners enhanced their humps and other features using injectable fillers, silicone wax, and Botox. I mean, veterinary inspectors at the 2026 Camel Beauty Show Festival in Al Musana, Oman, discovered that camels had undergone several cosmetic procedures to enlarge the size of their hump using a mix of injectable materials similar to dermal fillers used on humans. The
Speechless.
disqualified camels had received a mix of injectables, including I'm going to say it wrong, inject for pouty lips, dermal fillers around their nose, Botox to soften their faces, and silicone wax to inflate their humps.
Why are they softening their faces? I'm not
I guess
understanding.
because all acts of tampering and deception in the beautification of camels is wrong. So, I mean,
I don't
So
think
my
anyone
first
should be doing anything to these animals. Don't get me wrong. I'm understanding the hump thing. Again, I'm not condoning this. I'm understanding if you're trying to have a camel contest, it's like, who has the biggest hump? Because camels are known for humps, right? Camels are not known for beautiful visages. So why are we doing the Botox?
maybe they are. Maybe there's. I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of stuff that we not in the camel know would not know. Right? But you know what? See, this made me think. The reason why I brought that up, I thought that was awesome because that was hot on the heels of the Olympics, where the ski jumpers apparently had inserted injectables into their penis to gain a few centimeters of I don't know,
aerodynamics.
flight of like the flying squirrel things. I don't quite understand. I only looked at the headlines on that one because I didn't look closer. But anyway, apparently the point is that that's rampant in all forms of competition right now.
Wow.
There you go.
I think there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon where there's a camel that gets all dolled up and has like a lot of makeup on and stuff. I vaguely remember.
But that was
Probably is.
satire. And now we're living it.
That's
I'm
good.
okay
Okay,
with
so
that.
going back to that, so I think this is the perfect segue into the Timothée Chalamet sort of thing, because my take on the Timothée Chalamet is he said something stupid, whatever.
Maybe
but
just
he's-
prep what it is. Maybe prep what it is. What did he
I
say?
don't know. He just said that opera and ballet were obsolete, or that nobody liked them, or something like that.
Yeah,
And the whole entertainment world is up in arms. But honestly, I kind of am like, he said it. It was a bonehead thing to say, but he's what, 20 something. So to him, of course, opera and ballet. If you're not in that community, you would be like, I don't get it. It's not important to me. It's obsolete. I kind of feel like everybody jumping on the bandwagon and like chastising him about that is kind of like it's reminiscent of it's been a slow news week, which is astounding to me because it has not been a slow news week, right? So I'm kind of like,
Seriously.
maybe people are just looking for distraction. But I kind of think he's said a bonehead thing. Everybody need to weigh in on this. All of these companies are weighing in on poor Timothée Chalamet. He said something dumb, and now everybody's like punching him in the face for it. I'm like, come on. That's my feeling.
What's your take, Joey? So Kelly's take is a bit of a who cares? He's a stupid actor. In response, basically.
Stupid actor. He just said something dumb, but everybody jumped on the bandwagon about like publicly whipping him for saying it.
I would have agreed with you more had these comments come out maybe 2 years ago. I would have been like, not smart, dude, especially since his mother, his grandmother, and his sister are ballet dancers. And he went to a performing arts school. Like he went, I believe he went to the Fame School in New York City, LaGuardia. I believe he went there. If not, he went to a performing arts school of some kind. So this is a man who's been surrounded by the arts his whole life. Not great to crap over certain parts of it. I think what the broader film community is reacting to is his increasing. He's gotten a bit cocky. There've been a lot of comments recently about, well, I just keep turning in these like top-notch grade A performances, and you believe what you want to believe, and I think you should believe in yourself, in oneself. But when you start comparing yourself to, I'm like one of the greats, I'm like Brando, I'm like Dean, it's like, dude, you have got to absorb a bit of humility here, and I think that was why people, and I will speak for myself, I loved that he seemed like a goofy, like just crazy kind of dude who was doing something different. He'd wear women's blouses on the red carpet. Like he seemed completely devoid of any of toxicity. He seemed like interesting and strange and unusual. And now he's like got a bit of this hyped up like bro energy that I think is not very attractive to a lot of the entertainment community. So there was that, and then he made these comments, and we were just like, no, stop.
So
You
it
were
was
anti
the straw.
this.
It was essentially the straw that
No,
broke.
no,
They
no.
flipped up Camel's back,
Man,
bringing it back around.
Bringing it back. The callbacks. Ah.
so here's my question with it, because when I first heard it, I was like, okay, my problem with it is not what he said, but it is the reaction to it, because maybe he wasn't very tactful with the way that he said it, but there's truth to what he said, right? Like, nobody wants to watch ballet in general. Nobody wants to watch theater in general, right? Like, and I'm a theater person. I love theater and I like to go to the theater and all these things. But like, his point is valid that as technology and things progress, like, these things become less and less valuable across like the entire spectrum. Now, does that mean that they need to die and go away? No, it just means that they will become like, I think the word he used was like fighting for survival or keeping them alive or whatever the heck he said. Like, it becomes more difficult to keep something alive. I don't know of any particular art form that has like died off over the last 300-400 years, but I'm sure there have been. So like, at what point does that happen? And again, I agree with you, Joey, 100%. Know your audience, and there's a little bit of like political, like, you have to play the political game of like, be careful what you say or how you say it. But maybe he said it on purpose. Maybe he's like, okay, cool, I can pick up some
Drawing a
traction
lot
from
of
that, right?
attention to ballet and opera right now.
He sure
Yeah,
is.
there you go.
I mean, these are art forms that have been around for 400 years, and film and TV. Film has been around for
100.
120 years or 100 years, I guess, at this point, and television for 70. So there's something to that too. Just because it's not in the grander scheme zeitgeist doesn't mean it doesn't have value. And I think that's what people felt crapped on a bit. Like, you're saying that opera and ballet have no value anymore. They're dying. Why would anybody? It's just a little more niche.
His comment was what he was referencing was the broad economic value. That's what he was saying. But he
Was he?
made
Was he?
I think so. I think his
Were his
point
comments
was,
made in context of, when we talk about economics, I want to be involved in something that's making a lot of money. I thought the comments were coming out of, I just want to be famous. I want to be a part of the thing that most people are watching, not necessarily monetarily or not.
Yeah. That's what he meant, right? So I mean, look, it's easier to be a famous YouTuber than it is to be a famous ballet person, right? Like, it is. I mean, you're just going to get a bigger audience. You're going to get more. In terms of gross number of eyeballs, you'll get more from being a YouTuber than a ballet person. That doesn't make, like, to your point, it doesn't make the ballet thing bad. It doesn't make the theater thing bad. It just makes it that from a numbers perspective, that's what I thought he was trying to say, just not with a lot of tact. Was my thought. I don't know.
Honestly, didn't watch what he said, so I'm just reacting to what everybody else said. So
Oh,
probably
you're
like,
the reporter.
I don't even know what the hell he said. Although, it's kind of an interesting question because this is like jumping to another conversation that maybe we don't want to get into right now. But the concept of like, the thing that's interesting about ballet and theater and opera and all, and chamber music and all that other stuff is, especially as we kind of transition into a more AI world, those are the places where you're going to know that people are actually human. So I'll be curious to see, and theater, and like, so I'll be curious to see if there, as over the next 50 to 100 years, if there's a resurgence in any of those, because we know
That's a good point.
that those are actually people. Because, so good. Things are so good now that you're like, even Instagram reels, to my perpetual disappointment, there's obviously like, these cats are not doing the things that they're saying they're actually doing. So, that'll be kind of a curious thing to see what happens.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Will AI actually resurrect or reinvigorate those other things? Because now it's a little bit like, I want to see a person actually do it. Like, I really want to see them with my own eyes, and I want to know that they put the work in and they actually did the thing, as opposed to like, just like you're saying, like, I can watch a video of it that is
It looks really
convincing.
good, but you just don't know.
Right
I
now
don't
it's
know.
fake.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
True.
Had Timothée said something more along the lines of, I want to be a part of something that just about anybody could see, I would get that, because I will admit ballet and opera it's very hard, and theater at this point in New York City anyway, hard to watch these things because they are very expensive. These are extremely expensive and
Yes.
I'm sorry to say elitist things. Only a certain amount of people can afford that.
Right,
But
but that's
most
why
people can
no,
afford a $20 movie ticket. That's still quite
right,
expensive, I think.
Or
right.
just a streaming service where you're watching all these movies and stuff.
Right.
So.
But it's elitist. But I think the reason it's like that is because of economics, right? It's the reason. Like you can sell a $20 movie ticket because you can make a movie and then distribute it zero net, like net margin, right? Like whatever, zero marginal cost. I don't know why I was having such a hard time getting that out. Zero marginal cost distribution, right? Like you can make a copy of it electronically. It costs nothing to send it to the next movie theater. Live theater production, you have to move the people, you have to move the sets, you got to do all these things. So it costs a lot of money, right? So like it's a little bit of like it's expensive because it's not the scale isn't there. It's not distributable.
Had it been phrased that way, I would have been like, that's a decent point. That's a very decent point. And I
Right.
see why someone would want to be a part of something that the masses could see. I get
Right.
that. But instead, it came off as these things are dying. Why would anybody want to be a part of them anymore?
Yeah. It kept yes. Yeah, that's what it sounds. That's what he said. I mean, that's what he said. So politically was not the right phrasing. And maybe he really meant it. Maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and just agreeing with like the background numbers of it. But maybe his point was, why would you want to be? Like maybe he really was deliberately trying to say that. I don't know.
I
You
don't
know, we
know.
all read the Bible differently and we interpret it different ways. So we
You
don't
do.
read the Bible. What are you talking
You
about?
do, Dan.
so, the words of Timothée Chalamet will be ever interpreted in different ways.
From the Gospel of Joey, what makes something viral? Discuss.
Discuss among yourselves.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys watch? What makes you click and share on stuff? Tell me, I know it's
Podcasts, y'all. I mean, I don't
no,
even.
it doesn't have to be different podcasts. Just any type of viral videos or articles or what subject matter that's like inspires you.
Interesting. I'm thinking just on a very basic human level, it's something that creates a very instantaneous, strong feeling, right? So like the heated rivalry stuff, for me, creates a very instant, strong, sexy feeling. And I think a lot of people feel that. So the hit is a strong, sexy thing.
That's your Instagram growth.
It could be with Timothée Chalamet. It could be this inspired a bit of anger. Like a hit of anger. Sometimes it's something very, very funny. It inspires like a dopamine hit of comedy. So it's like a quick hit of a base, strong human feeling.
Do you have a time limit, Joey? Do you find that you like, for instance, I don't like Dan sends me podcasts all the time to watch, and I very seldom watch them because they're generally like 20 minutes, and I'm like, I'm a reader because I can skim. Like, you can send me an article and I can skim it real quickly, but I don't have, and this, I mean, maybe I'm a product of whatever the reels world, I don't know, but I don't really have the patience. When we're driving, I will we'll listen to podcasts. We'll listen to like a 20-minute sort of thing when we're driving, because then we'll stop it and talk about it and stuff. But I don't, do you have like not with episodes, like episodic television is different. I can hang in there for episodic television, but for like things that get passed around from a viral perspective, do you have a time limit, like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes?
I don't. It's how it's presented. If it's a topic I'm interested in and it's presented well, I will stick through it. I have found recently I'm having, especially if I'm just scrolling reels, I have a problem with someone who's like, hi, I'm so-and-so. Let me tell you why I'm going to talk about this thing today, because this thing interests me and I'm just going to keep talking about what interests me about it instead of actually talking about the thing itself. It takes, 30 seconds to get to the meat of what they're actually talking. I will scroll right by that.
Okay.
So I typically like get to the point, and if it's something that I'm interested in, I will stick around. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it kind of goes back to that, like back in like the theater, we used to always talk about how that it doesn't matter how good your show is or isn't for that matter. It matters how good your title is, right? Because the title is what's going to capture people's attention. So just that 1, 3, 4 word sentence, whatever it is, it's the title that catches people's eyes. in the theater business. And then it was kind of your description, like, okay, what is it? Like people will read that. And then if those two things hooked them amongst all the other things in the law, because at the time, the way it was listed, right, Kelly, it was listed like in basically a big giant list of shows that were going on in
like
Chicago.
early mid
And
2000s.
and so like, let's say there were 80 things going on this particular day in Chicago. Well, by the way, 30 of them would have been us because that's how we operated. Like, oh, we'll just, you know, go after the volume of it. And then of those 80 things, people are scrolling down like this, and then they're going to pick out the stuff that jumps out at them. And then the other rule that we found too was the case you had to deliver on the title, right? So like the title gets them, the description kind of like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I want to see that. Now they show up,
Has to
and
be.
that's when you actually have to do a good job, right? You actually have to deliver the promise that you made as part of the title and the description. So I think that, to your point, Joey, about like in that first, you paused on it for 2 seconds. Okay, cool. You got me for 2 seconds. Okay, cool. Now you got me for another 10 seconds, maybe. And then after that, like you better deliver on what we're talking about here immediately. So the question is how to do that consistently in a way that doesn't, that's sustainable, right? That you could kind of keep doing and keep running that machine. Like that's this, like the psychology of the format, essentially.
That's a formula that doesn't feel like a formula.
Right, exactly.
It's very interesting. I was thinking about this just before we got on. It's like a science, right? It's a science we're all collectively trying to figure out right now. Some people are inherently good at it. Others are less good at it. Like comedy is a science. I have this, there's this lovely story from my family. When my niece was 5, my nephew had just been born, and I had gone home to visit. My nephew was real fussy. And someone said, Joey, why don't you take him back to New York with you? And I just went, my deadpan face, right? And everybody laughed. And later, my niece, who was 5 at the time, took me aside and said, can you explain to me why everybody laughed at that? I don't really understand it. It was the sweetest, watching this sweet little human try to figure out comedy and laughter and science. And she's now 18 years old and has a wonderful sense of humor. But it was the first time I saw somebody really trying to puzzle together what funny is, and that it actually is a science. It is a formula. And I think with the advent of YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, we're all trying to figure out this science. And I think you're right, Dan. I think we've got 2 seconds and then maybe 10 seconds. So I think you're right. I think it's maybe like a 12-second, and it's a whole bunch of things. It's charisma, it's subject, it's how you're presenting it.
Yeah. And there's a certain familiarity. Like, for example, like a lot of times you'll notice that like when you watch videos, people have like a similar intro, or they'll have a little music thing, or like, and I've noticed that like when those guys that I watch, or those people that I watch like that, it's like, it almost feels comfortable. It's kind of like in the old TV days when they used to have the big opening, like in the opening theme song or the opening music, you get that like, okay, I'm watching TV now.
Maybe it's part of that delivering on expectation that you're talking about. There's an expectation.
Yeah, and then creating the relationship with the person, with the viewer, that you don't want it, like as a viewer, if all of a sudden the thing you're used to watching like goes way out in the left field, you're going to be like kind of disappointed, right? Like you want incremental change. You want a certain like comfort level around what people are delivering to you in these different conversations or different things. I'm trying to think of a good example. You know what it was, Kelly? Here's a great example. Perfect example. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What episode was that?
I was thinking the one where Mac does the whole
Mac finds his pride
about coming out. Do you remember that, Joey? Are you familiar with?
I don't think I saw. I've seen. I mean, they have like 40 seasons, right? And I've only seen, I think, like the first 12 or so. It's such a great show.
It's a great.
It's a great show. Those people are brilliant. They're great. I love everything that they do. And Kelly and I were split, I think, on what we thought about this particular episode, because this episode is the one where Mac finds his pride, or whatever they call it, and then he ends up doing this, like, and, you know, at this point, Bob is all like super jacked and everything. He has like this whole dance thing at the end, like a full-on serious
serious ballet. Well, I think this is not ballet; it's more modern. But
and then Frank goes, "I get it. I finally get it."
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I have seen that.
So that's a good example of a complete divergence from how they
Yeah.
normally are. And like to Kelly's point, they never learn anything. So even just Frank even saying, I get it, I finally get it or whatever, doesn't deliver on the normal
The
formula.
premise
But
is that
in
these
my,
people are irredeemable. They never learn anything. They always are the same. And then this was different because it was different from a format. It was different from a style. And then also there was major character growth kind of through Frank and Mac,
right,
which was interesting, which was like I actually didn't like it very much. And I went on Reddit afterwards because that's how you process things these days, is you
Sure.
go and see what everyone says about it on Reddit. And it was kind of divided. Some people were like, this was amazing, this was brilliant. And then some people were like, this didn't follow the show. This wasn't the show, it was something else. And I mean, and granted, you could make this is something I was thinking about that with the Sopranos, actually, that one Sopranos episode with the horse and everything, where it's like it's almost like a weird kind of surrealistic dream episode where Tony
right.
he rides his horse into his house. It's a hop out akin of what the normal expectation is. And I mean, you probably can do that when you've done 40 seasons of Always Sunny, or you're
Right.
however many episodes into it. You can't do that initially because you don't have enough of an established track record. I'm neither here nor there. I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was interesting that I was interested enough in it that I was researching it afterwards, which that is
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Right. So what is the thing we talk about, Kelly? We always say, what are the three things? It's art,
Oh,
it's
art, entertainment, spectacle.
art, entertainment, spectacle. We always try to define when we're watching stuff. Is it art, entertainment, or spectacle?
It could be
Because
some
it's
of both. It can be like
yeah, it can be some merging of both. And we
yeah.
think I think that the reason that that particular I think most of the times Always Sunny is entertainment, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, it's
And
light.
sometimes art. Sometimes, I mean, I think sometimes it's art. But yeah.
Well, I think it raises us to the level of art, I think, when like I think this episode was an art episode because we're talking about it in this like you don't quite know. I think my definition from an art perspective is it it's not like everyone doesn't see it the same way, so that's why it's art and not just entertainment or spectacle. That Laurie Metcalf show that we saw on Broadway, what was the name of that
Gray
show?
House that was playing on Broadway
Yeah.
for a while.
It was very divisive.
It was very divisive. We saw the same sort of thing when I saw it, and I went and I looked at Reddit because I was like, what am I seeing? What did I just see? What's the story? And it was so fascinating that there were so many multiple viewpoints about that, and people wanted to talk about it. And I thought that was interesting. I liked that show. It confused me, but I liked it. So what are you saying you want? Do you want this to be art, entertainment, or spectacle? This
I don't
podcast.
know.
I'm
I don't know.
entertainment. My segment is entertainment, y'all.
All right. So which one of us is spectacle, Dan?
Not me.
Oh, crap. All right. I'll do it.
Actually, the definition that it actually does kind of make a little sense to break it down that way, I think, because I definitely can be the kind of pompous art guy for sure. Like I could live that really easily. Timothée
Boy.
Chalamet will not like my I don't know existence as it were.
That's an interesting
Philosophical.
thing. Like our favorite viral reels. Do they sort of touch a little bit on all three of these?
Mm.
Is a successful viral moment, does a successful viral moment touch on all three of these?
Interesting.
Spectacle, art, and what was the other? Spectacle,
Entertainment.
art, entertainment.
I mean,
All
when
right.
you look at the Timothy, you said Timothée.
It's Timothée.
Timothée French.
Whatever. Yeah.
Timothée. But like that concept, there's a certain amount of, so the art question is like the whether it's
He's talking
useful or
about
not.
art. He's
The
talking about
entertainment is that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and punching the shit out of this guy. And then I don't know what the spectacle is. I guess he himself, because of how his I don't know. Or maybe it's spectacle because everyone's doing stuff in relation. I don't know. It's interesting.
All right, I have an example for you. I think you guys have both seen the video, and you can tell me if it's art, entertainment, or spectacle. Okay, so I'll describe it. Kelly, I know you've seen it. Joey, I don't know if you have. There's a meme video that everybody that's been around for a decade probably, where there's a guy in a wheelchair, in like a little electric wheelchair with like the little controller thing on the side. And it's 4th of July celebrations. And he's like sitting he's like lighting the fireworks from his wheelchair, and he lights it or someone else lights it or something. It's right next to him. And then all of a sudden it starts to go. And so the guy behind the camera starts yelling like, get out of there, whatever his name is, go, go. And he's like trying to wheel it with his little thing and it's not going. They're like, oh man. And like it starts exploding. And the guy in the wheelchair is not in any danger. It's just funny because it's like he's trying to get away and it's not going anywhere. And like everybody's yelling and he's laughing and he has this big, like, whatever. So it's like an example of that. That's probably not art, but is it? But that's a good question though. Is it art because it's this exact weird circumstance of this guy can't in a wheelchair and he can't get away and everyone's laughing and then telling him, oh man, get out there, you know? Is it just funny because it's funny to watch? It's spectacle because it's big with the fireworks and things exploding. So that's, I don't know, like, and is it when it's all three or an element of all three? Is that what creates the virality, the shareableness?
Did you two come up with the spectacle art? Did you two come up with that? Where did
I
that
think
come
so.
from?
I mean, maybe we borrowed it from somewhere, but we talked about it. That was one of the things that we had come up with. How do we classify things in these
We
three?
definitely came up with it because we're really sharp.
I'm actually sort of blown away by this. Well, art, like, why do we create art, right? Why have we been drawing on cave walls since the dawn of
Right.
humanity, right? Like, it's a need to express oneself, one's innate humanity. And I would argue that the wheelchair video, I haven't seen it, but I'm just imagining. And the fact that he's okay, like, makes me, like, I can enjoy it. There's something deeply human about it. It's funny, right? It's going back to the science of
Right.
comedy. It's funny. This is a funny human experience.
Exactly.
And there is something very artistic about that. And it's
Exactly.
spectacle because of the fireworks, and it's entertaining because it's not happening to us.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But that's interesting. I think successful videos, things that are successful in grabbing my attention do contain an element of all three of these. I think you two are onto something there.
It's an interesting lens to look at stuff through. I mean, there's probably subcategories or, you could divide it into further, but just to use that as a framework to examine things is kind of interesting.
And were
But I
you
don't
using
know
that were you using that in Chicago with the theater?
No, that was fairly recent. We just we kind of used those words last 4 months or something like that, right?
Yeah. I don't know what we were talking about, why we came up with that. We were trying to
Yeah.
figure something out. I don't know.
But it's an
This is
interesting
what we try to
concept,
figure.
yeah.
This is what we try to figure out. We sit down.
We don't sit down,
We can be very pompous, actually, right?
we can be. There is a certain level of artistic pomposity that happens that we fulfill. Maybe it's entertaining pomposity. I don't know.
Give me an example. Give me an example of your pomposity.
I don't know. I can't even come up with it. It's just, it's just the kind of when you're talking and you're like, I'm a know-it-all. It's a little bit, this is probably what Timothée, what he probably was going into was just like, there's like a little bit of like, I know everything. I know what I'm talking about. Of course I do. They're just and of course you do at the moment because no one's there to challenge you. And then as soon as someone
Yes.
challenges you, you're like, oh, okay.
We also walk along and we make comments about people that we pass on the street.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean,
But
yeah, these are inside,
Entertainment. There's a certain element of spectacle and entertainment, but
certainly in Florida, certainly in West Palm
actually,
Beach.
yeah, we come up with some good, like, thoughtful either jokes or funny things or like maybe thoughtful thoughts about something based on someone who walks by, right? So like, I feel like we're adding to the human discourse by
what you're saying, Dan, is
analyzing.
that the world is our real.
Exactly. The world is our real. We just got to walk around, which is a good promotion for walking. So everyone get out there and walk because if
Gotta
you're
walk
not
someplace
walking,
where you're gonna see something though. So I mean, whatever it is that you want to see.
don't go walk in the woods. Like,
Well, I mean, if
that's
you want,
something-
if
well,
that's what
maybe.
you're,
I don't
if
know.
that's what you're into, that did the whole Thoreau, Walden, blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
not an
And
outside
you two
walker.
are really good at that. Anytime I've come out to visit you in Florida, you both are like, well, let's go on one of our walks. And these are not like little 5-minute jaunts. You guys do walks. And I love that. As, someone who has lived in New York for 26 years. I love a
it's
long
helpful
walk.
that we live in an area that's walkable. When we lived in Wellington, there wasn't really very many places to walk to. So you just, if you're in a situation where you're in a neighborhood and you're only really walking around the neighborhood, that's not as appealing to me. Like where we live downtown West Palm, there's a lot of places to walk to. And there's a lot of stuff going on, so it always kind of changes a little bit. That makes a difference. I mean, that's what New York is.
And West Palm is big enough and international enough to have a lot of different types of people, but
Mm.
it's also not so big that you don't see them over and over again. So you
Yeah.
get to see the same weirdos over and over again. So then they really do become characters in your entire
World.
existence because it's the same people. It's not just like you saw a weirdo once and you never see that weirdo again. We actually have like like our little stories about each person and like, you know, who are they, what, you know, whatever.
And why do they keep, you know, diving cars into?
Exactly, into the
Yeah.
same spot. I mean, that's going to be, from now on, that's the place you go in if you want to
Dukes
Dukes
of
of Hazzard
Hazzard.
it into the Intercoastal. So
They should
it
just set
was
up a ring.
perfect. Honestly, I mean, we drove by there, and this is a little too far. I mean, we could walk by there, but it's a little bit further of a walk. And it really is like it's a T, right? So there's like it comes like the road comes to a T, and then the Intercoastal's on the other side, and there's a stoplight there, and there is like a berm that's full of plants, and basically the berm is like the ramp that launches you over the wall. I mean, honestly, in many ways, it was like the perfect spot because if you didn't have that berm full of plants, that little raised planter hill that had the plants on it, you probably would have just crashed into the wall. But because there is this little race thing, right? Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. There was like a little race thing that's perfect.
Because someone got hurt. I'm really sorry. Just-
What is it? What's that famous saying? Comedy is when tragedy is when
Tragedy
I
plus
cry
time.
here, and comedy is when you fall into an open manhole or whatever. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I do like your idea that the walking. I do agree with you, Dan. We need to encourage people to get out and walk more, if nothing else for health. But it does unlock things in one's mind, I think. And the way you two are doing it, when you're walking with somebody and you're able to bounce ideas off, and you're also thinking, I find, and we spoke about this a few podcasts ago, and I wrote something about this, that I've started walking around without headphones in. Because I find that it just kept making my world smaller and smaller. I was listening to my books or my podcasts or my music, and I wasn't letting my mind unlock when I was doing these long walks. And
Exactly.
now I can feel breath in my brain again now that I'm walking more. And I feel like that's what you guys do quite a bit.
let me
Yeah.
go see what this is. Nobody is. I think it's one of our neighbors. Let me go see what's going on. There's somebody at the door. I'll be right back.
Love it. I love Florida. I love Florida so much.
We never have visitors at the door. What is going on?
Wouldn't it be great if it was me?
It would be. You've got AI Joey. You've got AI Joey set up here, and then it's like, "Hi, I'm here too. Two places." It's the neighbor. Someone picked up a package that he's looking for. But it wasn't us.
I thought he was going to complain about you being too loud with your podcast.
I was I was hoping for something better too.
Oh
No, but
man.
just a package. Just a missing package in the neighborhood. Too bad. He really wanted it though, because he gave us like 3 or 4 good ding dongs before he. Now he's moving on to the next house.
Oh, there's something important going on there.
It's an important package. All right. Well, with the important package, that's that, I suppose. I hear Kelly going back up the stairs. What we should do is we should like move around the house.
Funny.
All right. Well, on that note, we're coming up on time here. This was a good conversation. I think we learned a lot.
Always love talking with you, sweet friends. I miss you guys.
Miss you too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta come out
Are
to
you,
Florida. You never know what's going on in Florida. So.
Oh, that's right. I do never know what's going on in Florida. Oh, you wacky
I don't
Floridians.
have the glasses. I suppose at some point I should get a pair up here, but I could have
I
grabbed them
have some up here.
downstairs.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
back down, Kels.
I'm not gonna go down.
Come back down the stairs. Good exercise.
No.
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys. It's
All
good
right,
to
friends.
see you.
Love you.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.